Hi there. Hi, everybody. It's Fiona Hooper here again, back for another weekly instalment of the Poetry of Painting. So it's been a really busy time just lately, not least with helping to set up the forthcoming real live exhibition of work by the Association of Sussex Artists. So it's all set up and ready now, all ready for the public to start arriving on Friday morning this week. And the exhibition is at the Drill Hall, which is in Den Road, Horsham, West Sussex. And if anybody needs to have any further details about that, just drop me a message and I'll send you the postcode and everything, or put it in the comments afterwards. We've got well over 300 paintings there, almost 100 3D works, which are sculptures and ceramics and all sorts of things, and also lots of unframed works to browse through as well. So, and I actually have to say that it's really looking rather fabulous. So do come along and see it if you can. I'll be there all day on Friday this week, and it'd be really lovely to meet some of you there in person. So hope you can make it. That would be really lovely if you can. So this week I'm being joined again by Ritesh Nigam. Sorry, put my teeth back in, start again. So let me just bring Ritesh in onto the screen. Hi, Ritesh. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Fiona. How are you doing?
Good. Yes, I'm good. Thank you. Busy as ever, but that's good. I like being busy. So there we go. So
Yeah, I
uh,
think the life is getting back to normal, and the normal means busy, isn't it?
yes, it's busier, even busier, but normal's good too. Seeing people face to face is good. We've been so lucky that we've had things like this where we can interact with people online, but there's still something special about meeting people face to face as well, which is really lovely. So yeah, that's good. So this week, we've both written poems about my painting, which is called Last of the Snow, which is behind me here as well. It's quite a small painting, which, let me just bring it onto the screen. Small but perfectly formed is what I'd like to say about it. It's only 13 by 18 centimetres. And I'm really looking forward, Ritesh, to hearing how you've interpreted in your poem. So would you like to read that for us, please?
Yeah, definitely. When it comes
Oh,
to snow, I would like to, kind of share a bit of experience, my experience, because being born in India, and especially in the central part of India, although we do have lots of snow in the northern part of India, Himalayas, but I never experienced live snow, touching and feeling of
mm,
the snow. And I remember a movie in which an English teacher, I don't know if you remember, it's a classic. She goes to somewhere in China and she is trying to explain someone what is snow. And the kids are looking and they say, "What is snow?" And it's hard
yeah,
to explain, when the water is frozen and coming down like, cotton. It's hard to explain
okay.
what is snow if you have never seen it.
Yes,
So,
yes. Wow.
so
So
I,
you had to wait a long time for your first snow.
yeah, it did. We 30 years
Gosh.
for so so here is so obviously when I was thinking of the last of the snow you're painting, I tried to do something about how I will feel about the snow. And one thing I did this time is to try to copy your way of telling story, rhyming,
Oh, okay.
but still keeping the link poetry.
Right. Wow. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, you can say I like challenges. Okay, so here it is, the last of the snow. Under the beautiful, distant blue azure sky with serene patchy clouds tattooed to sit high. High it sits, magnificent to my eyes that flies to the mountains, capped white. White is the snow, covering three crests right as it drops to the dark woods sight of the emerald's motionless trance, drawing attention to the winding dance of crossing snakes through the bushes aligned to destiny, aligned to densely forest, opening up to trees shrined. Shrined is every tree, dark thickets to protect them from the mountain's conquering impact of poking noses to the sky of frosty whiff that I can't sniff as I'm standing here stiff in front of this mounted painting that I know that it's showing us the last of the snow.
Wow, very good. And lots of rhyming in there. My goodness, yeah, you've really excelled on that one. I mean, that's to do the link and the rhyming as well.
Thank you.
Impressed.
Thank you.
Yes, wow. I love that, the crossing snakes and things, just some wonderful imagery in there, and the poking the noses for the mountains, and yeah, it's brilliant.
I think it comes from you. When you look at the look at the painting, and then it gives you the inspiration. And then obviously, I've been reading and listening to your poems. I said, well, I got to try rhyming. I actually kind of afraid of rhyming and probably not sounding it right. So, yeah, thanks to you, Fiona.
You don't need to be afraid of rhyming anymore, do you? So it worked really well. So that was brilliant. Yeah, it's just, and like always, I just find it's absolutely fascinating just to hear how you see things in a different way. How we each see things differently for a painting as well, which is lovely. Oh, we've got Chris is making some comments. Good to be with us again. And he said you've got a very interesting poem and picks out points of my painting. So indeed, absolutely it does. So
thank you, Chris. Thank you.
So if I read mine, and then we can talk about the differences as well, and whatever we'd like to talk about. So yeah, so mine's quite different in format from yours, although I have actually done some rhyming this time. I don't always, but I decided I would do some rhyming this time. So let's hope it's okay. So, last of the snow. The last of the snow lingers at the edge of the trees, lying in the shadows, hidden from the sun's warm rays, a reminder of winter's glistening crystalline freeze and those busy, boisterous, activity-filled days. Distant faint echoes of voices that hang in the air, memories of the cries of delight from young and old, the swish of the skis and the rush of a toboggan, and the shouts of snowboarders brave and bold. With the passing of the snow and the warmth of the sun, the valley becomes a haven of peace and tranquility. With air clean and pure, and light sharp and bright, nature makes haste in this short season of fertility. The calls of the crows which bounced off the snow are now muted, absorbed by the pasture revealed. The valley provides summer grazing for wildlife, come down to feed from the high mountain pass. Nestled under towering peaks topped by icy crowns, below the sheer sides with their lavender shadows, the wildlife reclaims this land as its own, and man seldom ventures to these summer plateaus. Spring turns into summer, the seasons are short. The young of the elk and the white-tailed deer grow swiftly, building muscles and strength, nourished by the foliage which flourishes here. Come autumn, the clouds will be pregnant with snow. The
Yeah.
days will contract and the nights feel chill. The animals sense that it's time to move on, and man will be waiting for the next winter thrill. So that's my one. So there's some similarities, the snow-capped mountains, obviously, but yeah,
I love the line "Cloud will be pregnant with the snow." It's
yeah,
it's so depictive
yeah,
and clever use of the words. It and obviously you have kind of taken in all, the nature, the animals, um, and the man himself. Wow, loved
yeah,
it.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it harks back. I used to ski a lot. Well, I'd ski every time every chance I got, which I haven't done for a little while now, sadly. I'd like to go again, but it reminded me of being there, in the winter time rather than in the spring and summer, which, I've been to places where I've skied in the winter, and in the summer it looks really quite different.
Exactly.
Um, a beauty of its own, whereas the snow's, sort of beautiful as well. And it was just sort of like, in my head, I could hear the cries of people, and up in the mountains, when the crows call, it's really quite a haunting sound, because it does bounce off the snow and it echoes around. Whereas, I was thinking in the summer, maybe it doesn't quite do that, because I'm sure the snow must, reflect the sound a lot more than
Mm.
grass and things would do. So, and but then I really like the idea that, man's taken over the place during the winter, but come the spring and summer, hopefully the animals get the land back, for them to use more.
I know. I
You know,
think me and my wife were talking about Last of the Snow, and we were obviously talking also about the movie Ice Age and things
mm,
which, if you actually take it in a literal meaning, and if you are looking at Last of the Snow, for example, the snow in Arctic, and
mhm.
the breaking up of and the climate change, and if you
Yes,
are actually looking at Last of the Snow, how horrific it will sound that we are not
yes,
going to see it back in that
absolutely.
form. And
Yes, yes. Yeah, and Chris said a very good and very different poem. Thank you very much, Chris. But yes, the idea that snow and ice in nature might disappear for a lot of people, if not entirely, and obviously along with that goes rising sea levels, of course,
yeah,
with the melting of the ice caps and things. There's going to be a lot of land that would be under seawater, below sea level, if that does happen, if we can't do something about that in time to, prevent it from just, I was just going to say from snowballing, but that's not really the best word to use, is it,
uh,
at the moment? But
in fact,
from
yeah,
just, you know, gaining momentum, and just, climate change happening more and more and faster. And I think we've all got to try and do what we can to try and prevent that. I don't want to be, banging on about it every chance I get, but I do feel very strongly about these places that are so beautiful, and in the Arctic and places that just such beauty there with the ice and the snow, and the colours that you get in ice and snow as well, which are fantastic. Um, and I'm just really rather worried that we are going to lose so much of this,
yeah.
have
I
more
think
deserts and things, and
I
yeah,
think just taking line from your poem when you say cloud no longer pregnant with snow, it's
yes,
so impactful, so true for many places actually. Uh,
mhm,
and, and probably that I think that's how when you write something and something else comes out from your poem, which could linger in someone's mind. um,
mm,
I think that line of the poem is so strong. So it has an impact.
Mm, mm. Well, two of my other guests are actually environmental poets as well, which I think is fantastic, and the idea that if we as poets and artists can help in some way, I think that's amazing. And I certainly wouldn't mind being known as an environmental artist, for example, because
Mhm.
if I can do something I love like that and help to raise awareness or whatever, or then I think that would just be such a fantastic thing to be able to do. But
Definitely.
any small contribution that I can make, because there's a climate change summit coming up, I think, isn't there?
In Glasgow, yeah, I think in
Mhm.
Glasgow, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to hear what comes out of that. Maybe I'll try and get someone to write a poem that's one of the. I think they maybe be a bit too busy for that, but
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, but yeah, because there's, I think we're in danger of losing so many beautiful places in the world, some of which I know you're heading off to visit soon, places like Wales and Cornwall.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Tomorrow, this time, we should be in Barry Island.
excellent. That'd
And
be lovely.
you just told me that you were born in Bristol, which is like, I think probably the other side of the Bristol is like, second home for you.
Yes, yeah. So you just wave as you go past Bristol,
Uh,
say hi from me.
Definitely.
But
Yeah.
yes, but and with so much man taking over so much of the planet and building on so much more land, and you just think, well, what land is there going to be left for growing our food, for example?
Yeah.
It's
I think
if
also when you see these news that flooding is happening,
mm,
what I was thinking, and they're talking about the council's not done the plan. I was thinking if the flood is happening, basically it was the land used by those voters, and
mm,
we have gone closer and closer because we thought the river is now, we are trying to tame nature, we are trying to tame rivers, that the rivers are confined to this boundary, and our houses are next to it, which we call riverside,
mm,
millions worth of properties because it's next to the river where you can just walk
yes,
to the river, but actually that land was that river's land. We are encroaching on that
mm,
land, and if we are far from that, then you will not see flooding.
yes. Like a few years ago, we had some really bad flooding along the Thames, didn't we? With lots of people flooded out of their homes, and lots of other areas as well, in Somerset and places. And you just think, partly not necessarily Somerset, but partly I think it's due to the more extreme weather, which
Yeah,
is caused by climate change, and partly as well when so much building is being done with more roads and more people not having, gardens with grass and lawns and trees and things, the
yeah,
water runs off that much quicker. It's not
exactly.
absorbed by the land, so it runs off, and that's creating flooding in itself, so.
Exactly. Yeah, we have seen, like in where I live, I've seen houses being built in the floodplains, and then
Yes.
they are saying, no, we have done the flood defense system. But basically, you are encroaching upon that land, which was actually able to
Mm,
hold more water spread out here, than actually zoning in and then sending it towards, the bigger
mm.
areas.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think,
Well, we're on clay soils in this area, and from the train, there's some areas heading up to London where, in the past, I've often seen the fields just completely flooded. When it's been some heavy rain for a while, and those fields have all been built on.
yeah.
So I'm sure they've put in drainage and everything, but if I was looking for a new home, I don't think I'd be buying one of those, because
Yeah,
You know, I've seen those fields so many times underwater. And in fact, I think while they were building them and they'd got a road down, I'm sure one time I went by on the train, I looked, and I'm sure the road was completely flooded. This new road that they put in between these houses.
Yeah.
And just think, you know, well, just it's a bit crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the title of your painting brings that subject so evocative. You know, the last of the snow. It brings. We don't want to see last of the snow. We want it to be everlasting instead of last. And
Yes.
I think, but nature will take its course, and probably, you know, I think we as human will learn from it. Obviously, there will be destruction. But we will have to probably, you know, kind of understand that we just can't beat nature as we have been doing it, you know, thinking that we can tame the rivers, we can tame look at the fires going on in places never, you know, unheard of.
Yes.
Algeria, Greece, and then, you know, I think all this thing is kind of realization for human beings, that
Yes.
and for probably the next generation to understand that, you know, this is, we have to go more, you know, in hand with the nature.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We can't control it, you know. I mean, as you say, with the fires, you know, that we had Australia last year, such awful fires, America, so many, and as you say, Greece at the moment, and Algeria, and you know, fire is, once it gets a hold, it's a very powerful force, and you know, trying to control it,
No.
almost impossible, as we found out. You know,
Yeah.
man has found that out, and you know, and that's all partly, you know, the rise in temperatures, the lack of rainfall in those areas. I think it's all come over here recently.
Yeah.
We seem to have had more than our fair share, but yeah, I mean, just the impact of what man has done to the planet, and I know over, you know, centuries, eons, whatever, that you know, we had the ice age and things, and the world changes, and but you know, it's just what we're doing to the planet at the moment that is pretty scary, I think. And you know, we've
Yeah.
got future generations that you know, we need to be thinking about the planet for them. And yeah, you know, it's not just for us, is it? It's for everybody else and the animals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you were talking about snow and ski, I have to tell you that I have never done the ski as well.
Oh, well, it's never too late.
Yeah,
Never
and
too
never
late
too
to
late.
start.
So
It's
if
fantastic fun. I love it.
so, what do you recommend? If it's taking example from your title of the poem and the painting, if it's the last place to go, where should I go to ski?
Well,
Austria comes to mind, but yeah, what about?
yeah.
I
I
don't
know
know.
I've skied in Europe as well, but the last few times, quite a few times that I went, I normally went over to America, to Colorado, and really mainly because the snow record, you know, the how much snow they get and how it lasts is generally so much better over there. Whereas if you go to Europe, you know, there have been years when they've had hardly any snow.
Yeah.
So, you know, people have gone skiing and end up playing tennis or something, which, you know, if I'm going skiing, I want to be able to ski. So,
Yeah.
you know, I did tend to go over to Colorado, which has some fantastic skiing. And it's got, you know, obviously for all different levels as well. So if you can do that, I'd recommend that personally. But, you know, there again, you've got Canada as well. Canada's got some really good skiing too, and, you know, good snow conditions. So yeah, but yeah, but I have, on the other hand, I have had some really good skiing in Europe as well. So I'm not knocking Europe at all for skiing.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do. But you know, it is maybe not quite as consistent as the rock is for having, you know, good snow.
Good
But
snow.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I've been dog sledding as well over there, which is just such fun. I wasn't sure if I'd like it to start with because I thought, well, those poor dogs, they've got to pull me along on a sled and what, but they absolutely love it.
Yeah.
They when they're getting you ready to go, and
Yes.
you get on this sled, and the dogs are getting so excited and they're just wanting to go and and they have a fantastic time. They really love it. They just, it's what they were bred for, and
They
after
purely
that I
enjoy
was
it.
just,
Yeah, they
yeah,
purely
yeah,
enjoy it. Yeah.
yeah. So I very happily go dog sledding any day because they just love it so much. And I've got a chance to go on the back of the sled as well, because there's somebody, from the place with you. And then he got on the sled and I was doing the mushing on the back, which was great fun. It's just fantastic. And driving snowmobiles as well, the skidoo
Oh yeah, yeah,
things. Yeah, like
definitely.
it's a bit like riding a motorbike, but much heavier on the steering. And but again, that's another really fun thing to do. So we can't lose snow. We've got to have snow.
We got to have some, yeah.
The world needs snow. We need snow in the Arctic and stop the ice caps melting. But as humans, it's great to have snow as well because it is such fun. And
It is. It's
kids
definitely.
playing snowballs and toboggans, and just
Yeah.
yeah.
When it's snow here, so it has become a tradition that we will take a day pass, sit on the double decker, and just go around. Take the longest route around Reading, which goes around some of the small hills, Caversham. And when you look at the snow cap, the houses, the garden, and especially a tiny bits, like if someone has a wishing well and there is a snow on that, someone has garden ornaments and they got snow on that. So those little things, just sit on the top of the bus and wash them. So we just do it every time it happens.
That's a great idea. I love that idea because especially from the top of the bus, you can see so much, can't you, as well?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a fantastic. Yeah, I like that idea. Right, next time it snows, we're going to have to find a bus and go out on a bus. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's lovely as well that you do that and you appreciate, just as you say, like on a wishing well, just those little things,
Exactly.
Yeah, just to see those. So, well, you're going to have to write some poetry about riding on a bus, looking at snow-covered wishing wells now.
I know. I do have the to-do list. I need to put a wishing well in my front garden. So I've been looking around. Probably, in a couple of weeks, I should be able to put something like that, and then wait for the snow to come over it, and then.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you going to be writing any poetry while you're away, or will you have your hands full?
I think I'll be having my hands full.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the kids. I think somehow for me, I'm like sometimes a very single dimension person. So when it comes to summer holidays, I somehow become very single-minded, single dimension, focus on children, make sure they are having fun. Obviously we can't control the weather, but if the weather, if it is raining, then we will have lots of movies.
Yeah.
So
you can always have fun whatever the weather, can't you?
Exactly. So I think
it's mindset. We will have fun.
Exactly.
Yes, you will have fun, like it or not. Excellent. Oh, that's brilliant. Well, it's been absolutely fantastic speaking with you again, Ritesh, and hearing your lovely poem, Rhyming Link Poetry. How good is that? It's amazing.
Thank you.
And I hope you'll again send me your poems that I can post it in due course on my Facebook page.
Definitely, I'll do that. Yes.
And I'm still working towards my book as well. So that's still on track, progressing each week. And
in fact, coming to the book, I am working on one of my cousin's book. So the title is Sharing My Light.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'll probably tell you more about it next time. So she has been writing in lockdown. she has been writing daily notes about the life just going on, what she watched on TV, what she saw on the news, all that thing,
Yeah.
like a blog. And then someone told her that she asked whether she should continue, and she said that no, you should continue, and you should continue sharing your light. And that's how the title came of the book, Sharing Your
Excellent.
Light. So probably next time
Yeah.
I'll share you with some digital copy of it. So it's something I'm working on, and which, because you said book, I said, oh yeah, that's my next project going on at the moment. So I'm being a consultant, talking about the book cover, the content, and how to present it, as well as how to sell it online. So kind of a full package.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris is saying, with all this talk of skiing, we should have the Ski Sunday music on.
I was thinking that we are talking about so much of holidays. People who are listening and who will listen to it, they will be kind of urging, Googling, where should I go next? The ski.
Absolutely. Definitely skiing. Yes. Well, it's been an absolutely real pleasure having you back on the show again, Ritesh. Really enjoyed it chatting. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. And hope that you'll come back to join me for another session, maybe once the school holidays have finished, it sounds like, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
I loved it as usual.
lovely. Thank you. So next week, I'll be back again with another fabulous poet coming to join me for more talk about poetry and painting. So I hope you'll all be able to join me again for that next Wednesday, 7 p.m. UK time, live here on Facebook. If you do want to sign up to my newsletter, that's just on my website. That would be lovely. So you can get invitations to exhibitions like the Horsham one, and see new paintings as they appear. So that's it for this week. Stay safe. Have a good week. Hopefully see you next week. And it's bye for now from Ritesh and myself.
Namaste.
Bye, everybody. Bye.